The Last Lap. A trap for Klaus Kinkel. For Klaus Kinkel, this race was supposed to be his greatest triumph, but it turned into a trap. Chapter 1.
Hereinafter referred to as the corporation, represented by its manager, acting on the basis of the law on physical body abandonment, on one side, and Federation citizen Klaus Kinkel, hereinafter referred to as the client, on the other side, have concluded this agreement, hereinafter referred to as the agreement, regarding the following. 1. Subject of the agreement. 1.1. The subject of the agreement is the client's physical body, abandoned by the client in favor of the corporation in exchange for the corporation's services. 2. The corporation undertakes to 2.1. Provide disk space on its server for hosting the client's virtual personality. 2.2. Take all measures to ensure the security of the client's virtual personality for the duration of the agreement. 2.3. Provide the client with consulting services regarding the use of the virtual personality. 3. Client's obligations. 3.1. The client undertakes to provide his physical body for the corporation's use. 3.2. The client renounces all rights of a body owner. 4. Duration of the agreement. 4.1. This agreement enters into force from the moment of its signing and remains valid for a term of 99 years. 4.2. The term of the agreement cannot be modified in the direction of an extension. 4.3. Upon expiration of the agreement, the client's virtual personality is erased from the corporation's database, after which the client is considered deceased. 5. Force majeure. 5.1. In the event of force majeure circumstances, such as war, hostilities, civil unrest, strikes, natural disasters, hacker attacks, etc., as well as the adoption by state authorities of laws, decisions, or regulations rendering it impossible for the corporation to fulfill its obligations under the agreement, the corporation reserves the right to terminate the agreement unilaterally. In such a case, the corporation bears no responsibility before the client's virtual personality. 6. Other terms. 6.1. Respecting the individual's right to exclusivity, the corporation undertakes not to replicate the client's personality. 6.2. As an act of goodwill, the corporation assumes the obligation to maintain the client's grave. 6.3. The corporation has no proprietary claims to the client's assets, which shall be distributed among heirs according to property legislation or a will. 6.4. This agreement is drawn up and signed in a single copy. The corporation undertakes to keep it for the entire duration of the agreement.
Then where the checkmark is?
The checkmark was in the client field, while the corporation field bore the sweeping signature of the manager. Klaus hesitated. The agent was unflappable. And why is the agreement in a single copy?
There is no need for more. The virtual will always be able to make use of a scanned version.
The virtual?
Apologies, professional jargon. Your virtual personality.
You speak as if it won't be me anymore.
Not at all. In the demonstration mode, you had the opportunity to verify the authenticity of the virtual personality.
That was just a demonstration.
No difference. The technology is the same. You will remain yourself, but your capabilities will increase 1,000-fold.
The agent tempted him skillfully, knowledgeably, and without unnecessary fuss. Klaus listened to himself. The effect of the painkiller was wearing off. The pain was returning. Trying not to pay attention to it, Klaus attempted to wiggle his toes. Whether he succeeded or not, it was impossible to tell under the blanket. Klaus couldn't feel his legs, yet he felt the pain in them almost incessantly. "Lift the blanket," he said to the agent. The latter complied with alacrity. No, the toes, of course, were not moving. Severed reflexes do not recover. The room began to smell of urine.
Citizen Kinkel, you decided everything for yourself long ago. A pathetic existence in a wheelchair is not for you. Your active nature demands more, and this more is what the corporation is prepared to provide you.
In exchange for my body.
We want what's good for you.
You want my kidneys and my liver.
Face the truth.
The agent turned up the pressure.
You have no other way out. You will never be able to walk, and you will never get behind the wheel. Racing is close to you forever, unless of course you are willing to settle for wheelchair rallying.
The blow hit the mark. Lately, Klaus had been haunted by the same nightmare. He would dream of the Milan Autodromo. The colorful bolides of his rivals would flash past one after another, leaving black arcs of skid marks on the track and screeching on the turns. He would strain to catch up to them, pressing on the pedals with all his might, but suddenly find himself not in the cockpit of his beloved car, but in a wheelchair with a moped engine. He always woke up at that point. I don't understand Clause 4.2. What does the term "cannot be modified in the direction of an extension" mean?
99 years is the maximum term of the agreement.
And what is the minimum?
There is no minimum term. The virtual can terminate the agreement unilaterally at any moment by notifying a representative of the corporation, without the right to compensation in any form.
And what will that look like?
He will simply be erased.
Like suicide, right?
We use the term early freeing of disk space.
And do you have many early freers?
That is classified information. I can only say that they exist. The omnipotence of the virtual is not to everyone's liking.
A shot of pain in his spine reminded Klaus that he was still in this world. Only one signature separated him from omnipotence, but he couldn't bring himself to take the final step. Will I be able to... there?
All the world's racing tracks will be at your service, plus a builder to create any tracks to your liking. The widest selection of bolides, and most importantly, safety. No idiot will jump onto the racing surface and throw himself under the wheels.
Did you study my entire biography? Klaus asked with malice.
It is standard procedure.
The agent replied unflappably.
We need to know everything about you. The circumstances of the injury, including those. By acquiring your body, we are investing funds into it in the hope of making a profit, so the corporation's interest is not idle. Our specialists have carefully studied your genetic map, the documentation on the accident, and the doctor's conclusion regarding the physical state of your organism. You are lucky. Your genome is clean, which is a great rarity these days, and only your spine and spinal cord in the thoracic region were damaged in the accident, which is, alas, irreversible. Almost all your organs are suitable for transplantation, and I'll tell you in confidence, recipients have even been found for them.
Already selling me off piece by piece?
You are getting worked up for nothing, Klaus. Think about how many people you can help and how many more you will give the opportunity to see the world.
In what sense? Klaus wondered.
Literally, you don't have children, do you? But now you will.
You mean?
It's your spermatozoa.
Even them.
It would be a waste for them to go to rack and ruin.
You speak about this with such cynicism.
It's the job.
The agent said stiffly. He realized that in his soul, Klaus had decided long ago. And Klaus saw that the agent understood, and this made the racer feel ashamed and disgusted. But then the pain in his legs reached its peak, and it became impossible to think about anything else. A nurse entered the room.
Mr. Kinkel, the injection.
Not necessary, he said, and added, turning to the agent, I'll sign. Give me the pen. He signed next to the check mark and took one last look at the body that no longer belonged to him. Even the pain receded, having despaired of winning. A belated thought occurred to him. And back? He asked timidly.
Back, there's no way. There is no such technology. And besides, back to where?
Chapter 2. Klaus lost the start, letting 2 Ferraris and a Porsche get ahead, and entered the turn only in 4th place. A Toyota and a Jaguar followed, while the others quickly fell behind and merged into a buzz of mixed voices. The Porsche immediately tried to overtake a Ferrari, but together they forced the impudent car onto the grass, an opportunity Klaus did not hesitate to exploit. He slipped into the gap that had formed for a second and held 2nd place for the next 5 laps. On the 6th lap, a Toyota latched onto his tail, and after several unsuccessful attempts, managed to slip ahead, dragging 2 Porsches and a Jaguar along with it. By the 15th lap, Klaus had regained 2 positions and was 4th again, behind a Ferrari, a Porsche, and the impudent Toyota. But during the next pit stop, The Porsche's engine stalled, and Klaus moved into third. Then, on the 32nd lap, the headrest flew off the Toyota, and the race steward pulled it from the race. The stubborn Ferrari did not want to yield the lead for a long time, until it hesitated during refueling. Kinkel drove the last 3 laps in first place. Klaus did not bother showering himself with champagne during the awards ceremony. The stupid tradition had long since become tedious. Without even changing his clothes, he dove into the back of a limousine and ordered the driver to head home. The trophy went flying onto the floor. The limousine was equipped with a white leather interior, a spacious bar, and a sexy mulatto woman named Hannah.
Who won, darling?
Hannah asked, picking up the award and brushing off non-existent dust. Guess, Klaus replied sourly.
I was sure of you.
She blew into the trophy and splashed some martini into it.
We'll put it on the shelf with the others.
I doubt there's any room left.
You're right.
She agreed after a moment's thought.
There's no room left. All right? Then we'll take the old trophies to the basement, and the shelf will be free again. Isn't that a great idea?
You fool,
Fine.
Hannah said, unoffended.
We can hang a new shelf next to the old one. It will look beautiful. Deal?
Shut up, please. Hannah smiled and fell silent. Klaus tried to remember how many awards he had taken over the last 5 years. It came to more than 40. In all the races, he had invariably come in first, and at first, he liked it. Never in his real body had Klaus managed to achieve such magnificent results. At best, he would squeeze into the top 6. Now, however, it was the opposite. Losing was becoming a problem. He had noticed something wrong after his 3rd victory. Everything seemed authentic. If his opponents lost, it was only by seconds. If they dropped out of the race, it was for valid reasons. And if they let him pass, it was only to latch onto his tail immediately and not fall behind by even a centimeter. But they always lost. That was when Klaus decided to throw a rally. On the last lap, he intentionally let an opponent pass him and finished second. However, this brought him no satisfaction, and for a long time, Klaus could not understand why. Much later, having gotten used to his new role and having conducted a series of experiments, he realized what kind of trap he had fallen into. Everything, absolutely everything in this world depended on him. But at the same time, and Klaus realized this quite clearly, nothing at all depended on him. He turned to Hannah. Where did you get a name like that? I've never met a mulatto named Hannah.
You gave me that name yourself, don't you remember?
He did not remember. And what was your name before?
Hilda.
Even better. A mulatto can't be named Hilda.
Whatever you say, darling. You're the one who named me that. Everything here is the way you want it.
Klaus slammed his hand against the partition, and the car braked sharply. He opened the door to the cabin and, grabbing Hannah Hilda by the hair, threw her out onto the pavement. Get the hell out of here, he roared. I don't want to see you. Don't you dare show yourself to me again. She stood up, rubbing her bruised knee. Her nose was bloody, and a dirty graze stretched across her forehead. The girl looked after the departing car and, smiling, waved to him. Then, unhurriedly, she tidied herself up. She smoothed down her short skirt, dabbed her nose with a handkerchief, and, giving a shrug, vanished. Forever. Chapter 3. At first, everything was fine. The main thing was that he could get behind the wheel again. His legs obeyed him just as before, and it was very easy to forget that everything around him was nothing more than an illusion created by the corporation's programmers. Within the framework of this illusion, he was God. All the women in the world loved Klaus. All the restaurants in the world served Klaus's favorite dishes. The weather was always to Klaus's liking. He was welcomed like kin in any house, and every word Klaus uttered was received with delight. Not to mention the rallies. But very soon Klaus began to miss honest defeats. He could not have even imagined before what it was like to dream not of victory, but of losing. Every time he sat in the cockpit of the bolide, he knew he wouldn't crash, wouldn't fly off the track, wouldn't lose control, and would certainly finish first. Nothing could prevent a victory except for Klaus's own desire. Only he possessed free will in this illusory world. Very quickly, Klaus forgot what excitement was, overtaking all his rivals, feeling adrenaline waves boiling in his chest, bursting to the finish line first, hearing the pounding of his own heart and the roar of blood in his ears, popping champagne while still disbelieving in his victory, going blind with happiness, choking on delight. All that was in the past. Now, as he steered the car onto the racing surface, Klaus felt only boredom and indifference. Once at maximum speed, he steered the bolide into a concrete barrier. From the impact, the car flew into pieces. The force of the collision was so great that individual fragments were thrown 50 meters away from the crash site. There was not a single scratch on Klaus's body. Klaus Kinkel's world protected its god. There was no room for accidents here either. And in the casino, Klaus saw this more clearly than anywhere else. No matter what field he placed his chips on, he invariably won. 10, 20, 30 times in a row until it became tiresome. But as soon as he wanted to lose, another number would come up that very instant. The wily ball seemed to be spying on Klaus's desires. The coin toss experiment only confirmed the obvious. From time to time, system messages would appear in the perfectly clear, cloudless sky. At first it seemed wild, but very quickly Klaus got used to them and learned to rejoice in them as the only events not dependent on his will. The messages were not particularly varied, and as a rule, drew Klaus's attention to another software update. And it was very rare indeed that the sky would erupt with an alarming call. Attention, server under attack. Immediately create a backup copy of personality. At first, Klaus would rush to the terminal, hurrying to copy his consciousness to an autonomous carrier. But lately, he had stopped saving, deciding to trust to fate the little that he had left. Besides, hacker attacks happened less and less often, and had never once succeeded. Dreams became his second outlet. Dreams about the times when he had a body, and the surrounding world, full of real dangers and sudden fortunes, did not play favorites. People around him loved and hated sincerely. The rain fell whenever it pleased, and unlucky racers became disabled. With every passing year, Klaus thought about the past more often. He would recall his crippled body and ask himself, what would have happened if he hadn't signed that agreement? Would he have remained in a wheelchair? Well, so what? After all, even without legs, people are capable of many things. In the hospital, back before the agent arrived, as part of a rehabilitation program, they had shown him clips about disabled people. The crippled people caught on film were cheerful and energetic. They even played sports, but most importantly, they remained themselves in a vast, unpredictable, sometimes hostile but real world. He, however, had traded away his soul. And for what? For 99 years of a ghostly existence? For divine omnipotence within the confines of a single hard drive? For legs? To hell with them. And the doctor had also said that science does not stand still, and perhaps one day, now it would never happen. Chapter 4.
Science does not stand still.
The agent said. Do you mean to say that I can return to a real body? Klaus clarified, not believing his ears.
Yes, but of course not forever.
Why?
Technically it is possible, but where would you find a person who would agree to gift you their body?
Can I buy one?
You cannot buy anything in the real world. You have no money. Your entire fortune was distributed among your heirs.
Any body will do, Klaus pleaded. Sick, crippled, anything at all.
Unfortunately, that is impossible. We can only offer you a rental.
But you made a fortune off of me. What would it cost you to meet me halfway?
We act in accordance with the agreement.
The agent replied indifferently. Choke on your agreement.
So you refuse?
No, I agree, the racer worried.
Excellent.
The agent smiled encouragingly.
Then sign the agreement.
An agreement? Again?
The service being offered is new and is not covered by the previous agreement.
Klaus hesitated. The corporation had outsmarted him once already and was now offering a new deal. Fine. Let's see it. The terminal screen expanded, grew, and like an amoeba, split into two halves. The agent remained in one, while the text of the agreement appeared in the other. Klaus fixed his eyes on the document. Hey, how am I supposed to understand this? He poked his finger at the text and read aloud. Time spent in the rented body is converted to virtual time at a ratio of 1:100.
That means that every day spent in a real body will be equivalent to 100 days of virtual existence.
The agent readily replied.
You didn't think the corporation would pay for all 100 years of the rental, did you? That, excuse me, would be unprofitable.
But this is robbery, Klaus protested.
As you wish.
I'll run, Klaus decided. I'll run no matter what. They've certainly covered their tracks. Surely they've found the body of an old man or a cripple. I don't care. Anywhere, in any body, without arms, without legs, without eyes, I'll run. I just need to think everything through. And who will I be transferred into?
Into the body of a volunteer.
And where will he be during that time?
He will be virtualized.
Klaus did not hesitate anymore. I agree.
What duration would you like to set for the rental?
The whole lot.
Bravo.
The agent did not seem particularly surprised.
Let's calculate.
He ran his fingers over the keyboard.
You have spent 7 years as a virtual. That leaves 92 years. Divide by 100, convert to days, and it comes to 335 days.
Only that? Klaus was surprised.
Very well. As a regular customer, the corporation is prepared to give you a wholesale discount and round the rental term up to a year.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
I am definitely going to run, Klaus thought viciously. A contract form slid out of the terminal.
Sign where the check mark is.
Chapter 5. Klaus opened his eyes and stood up from the bed. The body was young and strong, well trained. It obeyed him perfectly and had no visible flaws. Klaus jumped up several times, landing softly on the very tips of his toes. Then he went down on his hands and did a lap around the room, ending his journey at the door. Turning to face it while remaining in a handstand, he did a few push-ups. Magnificent. Much better than he had expected. It was hard to believe that someone could voluntarily, even if only for a time, part with such a beautiful body.
Lunch!
A nasty, drawling voice rang out nearby. A small hatch near the floor opened for a moment, and a foul-smelling bowl slid into the room, right under Klaus's nose. Taken by surprise, the racer collapsed to the floor. What is this? He asked, staring at the bowl.
Protein sludge.
The voice replied.
Enjoy your meal, you soul murderer.
Who? Klaus was surprised, but the owner of the voice had already passed by. Klaus stood up and finally looked around. The room was small and almost empty. A bed, a table with a terminal, a stool, a nightstand. The only window was located almost at the very ceiling and was so narrow that not even a child could have squeezed through it. Furthermore, it was barred with a thick steel grate. To top it all off, the door had no handle. Klaus turned on the terminal. The agent appeared on the screen. What does this mean? Klaus asked menacingly, gesturing around the room.
The transfer of your psychomatrix into the rented body has been completed successfully.
The agent replied unflappably. Where am I?
In a prison for especially dangerous criminals.
Why am I here?
You wanted to get a body, didn't you? Or does it not satisfy you?
What does the body have to do with it? Why am I in prison?
You see, the former owner of this body was a criminal.
But you said he was a volunteer.
So he is. After he was sentenced to death, he signed a body abandonment agreement with us, and his sentence was commuted to lifelong virtual imprisonment with the right to early disembodiment.
In other words, you tricked him out of his body. The agent looked Klaus straight in the eye and said,
You could put it that way.
I demand to be released from here immediately.
Impossible. The body is the property of the corporation, and I have no right to expose it to the risk of being stolen.
Are you hinting at me?
Yes, it's you.
To hell with it. Open the door. I am a Federation citizen.
In accordance with the law on body possession, a virtual has no civil rights.
I will file a complaint.
Complaints from virtuals are not accepted for review.
You set all of this up.
You signed the agreement.
Scoundrels!
You have a whole year ahead of you. Farewell.
The terminal went dark. Klaus sat down on the bed. The cursed corporation had wrapped him around its finger again. I'll run anyway, he thought. There must be a way out of here, and I will find it. A flapping of wings was heard at the window. Klaus turned toward the sound and through the small embrasure of the window saw a piece of real blue sky with a cottony shred of a cloud. On the grate, turning his head in profile and staring intently at Klaus with his right eye, sat a pigeon. Real. Alive. Thanks for watching and subscribing.